the Hormuz Strait is right now is being controlled. A lot of people say closed. It's not closed. It's quite open, but it's being controlled by the Islamic Republic. The southern part of the strait has been mined, and the ships trying to go through there are threatened with drones and missiles. And the part between Larak Island and Qeshim Island has turned into a toll booth by the Islamic Republic, and they have basically they're treating different ships differently. So ships that are theirs, like it's their oil and gas, they can go through. Ships that are American Israeli related, they cannot go through. Other ships can go through if they pay a $2 million toll, and that's adding up to billions of dollars every day, which is has turned into a huge source of revenue for the Islamic Republic. And also, oil prices are high right now, so the Islamic Republic is making extra money from that as well. So, for example, ships, oil tankers with Pakistani flags, with Indian, Chinese flags, I think some other countries, I forgot which other countries, they could go through with no problem. And they what we're seeing is how easy it is with just a few cheap mines and some threats of some drones being able to hit some ships, because the commercial ships are very risk averse. So you don't really need to be able to do much to be able to tell people this is what I will do, or else your ships will be in danger. Like, your drones don't even have to hit the target. A commercial ship will do whatever you tell them to, if there's even a threat that a drone might hit their ship, right? So the Islamic Republic is learning how easy it is to basically cause so much trouble for the entire global economy just with very limited military power, very limited military power. And it's becoming it's a the only way to fix that is some it seems to be some ground operation, and that's why you might think the Marines are getting involved and some other ground forces are getting involved, some special operations, because even if you destroy the Islamic Republic's military ability by 95%, you only need that very limited last remaining 5% to be able to do this, right? So that is a concern that we have right now. And especially with all of this extra oil money going to the Islamic Republic, they're going to be able to continue building the cheap drones that is and mines that is required to do that. I mean, you don't even need that many mines. They have, like, I think 12 mines or something, and that's enough to make the ships like, we're not going to go through that. So that's a concern. Another concern is that we're seeing a lot of Hashd al-Shaabi, the popular mobilization forces, the Shia proxy of the Islamic Republic in Iraq. We've seen caravans of cars from Iraq coming into Iran, with these terrorists basically replacing the suppressing the suppressing forces of the Islamic Republic that they had lost, either through death, injury, or defections. Is now the Islamic Republic is basically bringing mercenaries from Iraq to replace that, and there seem to be a lot of them now inside Iran, ready to kill the Iranian people if there's another uprising. So that there's that. We did. President Trump just gave a speech. Everybody was waiting for that to see, because there was some messaging coming from the White House. Maybe some people suggesting that maybe the Americans want to stop and do a ceasefire and get out of this. But President Trump's speech suggested that he's not going to do that for at least another 2 or 3 weeks. And now it seems like he's frustrated with the Islamic Republic not capitulating and doing a deal. So now he has threatened the infrastructure of the Islamic Republic in Iran. It's something that he said that he was trying to stay away from, to leave it for the Iranian people. And now he's saying, if they don't come, in his speech he mentioned that if they don't do a deal, he's going to bring take Iran back to the Stone Ages with the level of destruction he's going to do. And just a few hours ago, he showed that he means business by him specifically on his own Truth Social account posted a video of a bridge being blown up. I don't know if you saw it at the beginning. I could show it again. Here, let me bring share screen. Where is this? Not this one. This one here. So he posted this saying the biggest bridge in Iran comes tumbling down, never to be used again. Much more to follow. It is time for Iran to make a deal before it is too late, and there is nothing left of what still could become a great country. President Donald J. Trump. And also yesterday there was a we heard the news that this steel factory is now completely, not functioning anymore because of bombing and stuff, which is a big steel company. Like it's not just big in Iran, it's like big globally. So that was also now, I think, bombed and stopped working. But I mean, they could go for the power plants. They could go and bomb so many power plants that would just bring darkness and everything. They could cause. It's really. By the way, these targets are really easy to take out. Like Americans could just press a button, and when they say they could take the country back to the dark ages, it's actually very easy to do that. So some Iranians are not concerned. Some Iranians are saying basically we need to come out and do regime change already, or else we're going to lose all of our infrastructure. Some Iranians are, and some Iranians are saying like, look how un-Iranian the regime is because they're not surrendering, even though we're going to lose everything. Like if these people had this much concern for the wealth of our country, they would have surrendered by now. But they're going to keep resisting, and now so much of our wealth is going to get destroyed with it. Those are the things that come up to my mind in regards to the update. Do you have any questions with regards to everything I said?
Mm, no, what's your vibe right now? How are you feeling about things? Good, bad?
Very concerned because well, the good news is, well, let me give you some good news. The good news is that we're getting so much message from inside Iran that shows that the regime is very divided and is chaos right now when it comes to the leadership, and people are backstabbing each other. There's like a civil war going on, and there's a lot of defection, and a lot of people don't know, even like there's a lot of doubt within so many people, within supporters of the regime, whether they're going to be able to survive this or not. And they're within so many people are not showing up to work. So that is a good news. That's exactly what we need. um here's another good news actually. Israel just took out another leader of the suppressing forces, a key person. I forgot his name, but it was a very big person. The reason why that is, I mean, you might think like somebody might say, well, they have been doing that. They like, how is this different from the other ones? The difference is that we were wondering if that is still the plan, to reduce the suppressor, like have the Israelis like stopped doing that, because there haven't been like some of the targets haven't been the suppressing forces. Because when somebody from the suppressing forces gets killed, for Israel that has no strategic advantage for Israel's security, unless their plan is to help the Iranian people do an uprising, right? And some Iranians were wondering if that plan had been abandoned, and now Israel is basically focusing on other objectives. But now that they saw one of the main suppressing forces of the regime being targeted and killed, so a lot of Iranians are like, "Oh, okay, that is still the plan. That is like they're still working on that plan," which has made a lot of Iranians happy that that is still the plan. There was another person that just was killed. That was more, some people consider to be a reformist, that part of the negotiating team and stuff. So that made a lot of Iranians happy. But again, these are the good parts. The bad part is what I just told you. The Islamic Republic, to be honest here to everybody, has been able to resist more than people anticipated. Like a lot of people would have thought that this much destruction by the Islamic Republic would have ended them by now. And the fact that it hasn't yet, some Iranians are wondering like, why haven't they collapsed already? Like, what else do you need to do for this thing to fall apart? Like, so some Iranians are surprised that these people are still like, we still even have an Islamic Republic after killing so many of their leaders and destroying so many of their forces. So there is some demoralization, is that the word? Yeah, lack of motivation. Like some people are losing some hope, like, or becoming skeptical if this is even possible. But I do hear from some Iranians that they're just waiting for that final uprising, so they just can't wait for that day to come. So there's the other side. But yeah, the main thing that worries me is this Hashd Shabi forces that are coming from Iraq to Iran. That is my number one concern. I'm just wondering if the next uprising we're going to see another, like, tens of thousands of Iranians being killed again, just because the Islamic Republic just easily was able to just bring forces from outside to, and these people are not even Iranian, so they are even more willing to just shoot into the crowds of Iranian. So that's my number one concern that scares me. And one thing I wish that was happening was, like, they would have managed the Iran Iraq border a lot better. Like, there were some people who were suggesting that the Americans should have just completely bombed anything that wanted to come from Iraq to inside Iran. Like, just should have just, like, but again, there was a whole caravan of them that came. Like, we were watching the video of the caravan of the Hashd Shabi coming to Iran, and they were all in one row, and we were wondering, why is it not that big? Like, that's such an easy target. Why was that allowed to get into Iran? Why wasn't that bombed? And then, eventually, somebody on Iran International mentioned that they came with their family. They filled those cars, those Toyota cars, with machine guns, and they had the Hashtag flags on their cars. Like, they weren't even hiding it that they were terrorists, right? But apparently, they also had their families in the car, and that's the reason that they. I'm not sure if but that's what Iran International reported, and that's why they didn't bomb them. So, anyways, that's the summary.